I'm gonna have to edit what I was about to say out.
Whoa, yeah, I saw that stuff. I saw that stuff yesterday.
Oh,
so yeah, that
shit.
was.
Never mind. We'll restart here.
What's good? Episode 4 of the New South, man. We here, man. It's your boy Rod Bridgers. Once again, it's my guy Webb Wellman.
What up? What up?
What's going on, man?
Shaking the table. That's
shaking the table.
We just got done talking to Boston College's very own Kyran Bowman.
Shout out to Kyran. If your mama call him Kyran, I'm gonna call him Kyran.
We'll get into all that in a moment. We're gonna jump right in though to the Flourish report, and I want to start with your Flourish report player of the week, and that is who?
My man Matt Morgan out of Cornell University. Matt's a former Hoop State guy. Matt's from Cox Mill High School. So, I mean, a lot of people don't really know about Matt. Right now, he's averaging currently 23.9 points per game. It's good for 9th in the country right now. Sounds about right. But one thing about Matt, man, like his favorite player is Steph Curry. So if you watch his highlights here, when he comes across half court, he's letting it go, man. Like, honestly, I don't think I've seen too many kids in the state of North Carolina shoot the ball like he can. I remember Matt watching him when he played with CP3 back when he was like 15U. There were games he would hit 10 or 11 threes, man. So, I mean, it just translates to the next level for him. What's crazy is, man, I mean, he's leading. Crazy in the country, he's 9th in the country in scoring, but
it took 4 episodes for you to get mush mouth.
Right,
nice,
it's crazy.
I like that.
Right, I thought I was gonna do episode 1.
We're definitely putting that on social. Can't cool. Get it out, boy.
It's crazy. The crazy thing is he only had one offer out of high school, and that was Cornell, man. So a lot of times, man, I guess it's all about just finding the one school that really rocks with you. So,
what's funny is Donnie knows everybody player wise. Right. And when we're talking about this pre-show, Donnie's like, who is that? We showed him a picture. He's like, nah, that kid doesn't look familiar.
Right.
Well, Donnie, let me educate you right quick. On top of everything that Rod just told us, Matt Morgan goes to Cornell, part of the Ivy League, where he's led the league in scoring the past 2 years.
Right.
And like you said, he's averaging more now than he ever has before.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first person from Cornell to reach 1,000 points as a sophomore. He went through the process of declaring for the NBA draft last year to get some feedback for his future.
Right.
If we were really good at our jobs, we would know what they told him, but we're lazy.
Right. I should have reached out to him. Shout out to Matt, bro. My bad.
Yeah, use your clout, man. What's up?
Clown. Here we go.
Oh, man. His dad played at Georgetown for 4 years. His dad won a Big East title and went to the NCAA tournament 3 times. So there's definitely, the lineage definitely exists there for him.
Good family, too, man. Shout out to the Morgan family.
So my guy is also on the top scorers in the nation list, and that is Lamont Jr. Robinson. Who goes to, I know I'm going to get this wrong, Mount St. Mary's.
I think you got it right.
Mount St. Mary's.
The Mount.
I bet you their gear is really tough to look good. That's a lot. Mount St. Mary's University.
True.
Anyway, Lamont is, I'm going to call him Junior because I think if I call him Lamont the whole time, he's going to get ill about it. So Junior is 5'5", 150 pounds soaking wet. He is a senior this year, averaging 21.7 points a game, 5.3 assists, 3 rebounds, and 1.3 steals. At one point this season, he dropped 39 on Loyola. He put 26 on Georgetown, 20 on Marquette, and 24 on Pittsburgh. He's currently ranked 15th on the NCAA scoring list. I got to cover him at Eastern Alamance in high school a few times, and I saw him by accident.
Right.
I don't remember who I was filming, but the other team I was filming for, he showed out.
A dog.
Yeah, and he's quick and he's fun to watch and he talks a lot of shit.
My favorite. I love when the kid talk shit.
And I think that was the Alamance in him. I think every game I filmed in that area, both teams were jawing.
Right, yeah.
Same with him. Like, I would imagine your generic basketball fan, mixtape fan, college basketball fan, you're not knowing Matt Morgan and you're not knowing Junior Robinson. Do they both make the NCAA tournament this year? I know Mount St. Mary's made it last year.
Yeah, they got to the round of. Did they win their playing game? as well? The opening round game?
Again, if we were really good at doing this, we would have the answers. I challenge you to Google it. Tell us on Twitter, hashtag the New South, and maybe we'll get a gear pack out to you. How about that?
Ooh.
More free stuff.
We like free. Speaking of free,
go ahead.
What's up with my package? Moving on.
Okay. Anyway, so kind of to get away from the basketball stuff, specifically the players, I do want to talk about something that has been a topic for a while. I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of movement soon, but I do want to talk about shot clock in high school basketball.
Right.
Where you stand on it? Is it something you think, if it was possible,
right,
is it something that you think North Carolina should adopt?
So for me, the biggest reason I think they should adopt it is just because I think it helps gets kids acclimated to college quicker, the college game quicker. I mean, in college, you got a 30-second shot clock now. I mean, I would say keep it the same as college. I think it helps kids understand the pace of the game, time management, clock management, things like that as well. So, I mean, and obviously with a shot clock doesn't mean, okay, you know, get the fastest shot or take how much time, but it gives you more of an opportunity to control the game. So, you know.
I think it's funny that because a lot of the arguments against it from a playing standpoint is that you're going to force shots at the end of the shot clock.
Right.
Well, newsflash. If you're a bad team, you're going to force shots no matter what. Yeah. And I also love how coaches act like offensive rebounds don't exist. Because guess what? When it hits the rim, the clock resets.
Sir.
So that's an interesting kind of stance to me. I think the coaches that really are against it are the coaches who aren't that good. Because at the end of the day, you're going to put more emphasis on the coaching because it's got to be half-court sets. It has to be more organized to optimize your chances of scoring, right?
Right.
So I agree with you. You know, preparing athletes for college is absolutely the biggest benefit.
Right.
The only problem is that such a small percentage of players actually go play college basketball.
That's true. And a lot of those guys play on circuit, so you know they get that exposure on the Nike, the Adidas circuit.
What I would say on the other side of that, if I'm continuing to kind of argue both sides, is shot clock gives you more possessions in a game.
Correct.
Which creates more opportunities to score, which creates more shots for the team. You know, like it's a trickle down effect.
Right.
I know the referees in North Carolina don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a head ref who handles Section 3, which I guess is the southeast part of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And they voted no. They didn't want it. None of them wanted it. It's going to cause more training for them, and they're already not real great in North Carolina. So you know who
I've seen some.
That's what I mean. Imagine if they also have to keep up with the shot clock.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues is that's talked about online is properly learning the game,
correct,
versus, you know, putting up those stupid shots. Again, if you're a bad team, you're a bad team with or without.
That's true.
A shot clock. The cost. Do you know how much a shot clock is?
That's a good question. No, I don't.
Let me tell you how much a shot clock is.
Okay.
Depending on how many you get and, you know, all the details, you're going to spend at least $400 or $500.
Sheesh.
And they can max out to $1,000.
Okay.
So obviously the NCHSAA is out of that. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
There are schools that complain about not having pads and balls and nets and the simple things, you know, not having the budget for that. So that's certainly not happening.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it happening in the NCISAA.
Mm-hmm.
But they got to have a reason to want to spend that money.
Right.
And I don't see that happening.
Okay.
What's the most realistic is to take a national tournament like the Holiday Invitational.
Oh, you took my question from me.
Implement that in to see how it goes. The biggest disadvantage of doing that is we really want to create an environment that's advantageous for the players and the coaches. Mm-hmm. And if you're a coach and you have to scheme for 3 games with a shot clock, that's different. I mean, it's a completely different. Unless you play fast paced, that's a completely different game.
I think it would be good at a tournament like you guys because, you know, a lot of college coaches are there. So it gives coaches a chance to see guys in different situations. Okay, ball's in his hand with less than 7 seconds left in the shot clock. what does he do? What type of play does he make? Because at that time, it heightens the decision making of the player at that time.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, with the coaching, it puts more emphasis on coaching. It also puts way more emphasis on point guard play.
Correct.
Because your point guard is going to have to keep things moving. He's going to have to know when to reset. He's going to have to run the show.
Right.
So that will definitely make the point guards who are looking to play at the next level much, much better.
Right.
My prediction is no one does this in North Carolina. We will try in the Holiday Invitational. I've been trying for the last 3 years because Broughton actually has a shot clock. Because the NC State girls played there for a season.
Yeah.
I would like to try it, if nothing else, in the national bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I think it creates conversation. I think if you do it, it benefits, obviously, the college player first, the future college player first.
Right.
It benefits the fans of the game. It benefits event directors, people putting on high-level events.
Yeah.
And great coaches. If you're a great coach, you're going to be able to show that you're a much better coach.
Right.
And I also don't think that taking time to your advantage is a bad thing. Greensboro Day has been doing it for a long time, and they are considered one of the best teams in the state.
Correct.
If it's within the rules, you'd be stupid not to utilize it.
Right.
Selfishly, I want more exciting basketball.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you pay for. Yeah.
We were blessed enough to have a conversation with Kyran Bowman.
Right.
It would have been amazing to get him in studio like we had with Chris.
Mm-hmm.
The drive to Boston is a little bit farther than the drive to Bowie's Creek.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. No wheels up.
Right.
The budget's not quite there yet. But we did get him on a FaceTime call.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Kyran Bowman is a sophomore at Boston College. He is going to be drafted in the first round, whether you realize it or not. And he is potentially playing himself into a lottery pick, depending on which draft he enters.
Correct.
Kyran Bowman is one of the best people I have ever met in my entire life, and that has absolutely nothing to do with basketball.
I agree.
Let's jump right into the interview. We didn't set it up at all. We just kind of went straight in with the questions. So please enjoy getting to know someone who deserves you knowing them. This is Kyran Bowman from Boston College. Let's do it. All right, so Kyran, now that you're kind of living up in Boston or just outside of Boston, what's the biggest difference for you in Havelock and Boston, Massachusetts?
The biggest thing probably start off with the food. I ain't got no sweet tea up here. That's the biggest thing. That's hurtful.
How many times did you have to go to restaurants and ask for it, and they look at you crazy like, we got sugar?
Yeah. There was only one place that this lady, she was actually from I want to say she was from Georgia, and she actually made me some sweet tea in the back. So that was only restaurant that did it, but it's hard to get something that you like. They only got little Debbie cakes, the little oatmeal cream pies and stuff. They only sell those.
Oh, that's trash.
That's crazy.
Gotta move.
Yeah, you might have made a mistake getting out the South. Well, look, man. Another thing we've been concentrating on big time is AAU basketball and recruiting and kind of how all that goes. If you don't mind, kind of tell me the story of how you ended up at Boston College.
So my sophomore year, I committed to North Carolina for football, and my brother committed to South Carolina for football. And going after my sophomore season, he got into some trouble with and his cases being held, it was being pushed back. So South Carolina ended up taking his scholarship. But after that, my brother sat down with me because I only played football because everybody in our community just played. So he talked to me told me go where my heart is, and that's when one of my boys, Taquan Nolan, he reached out to Coach K and told him that he got somebody from Havelock. I came out there to the tryout, and Coach K said he told me to keep my weekends open. So then the next week I found out that I was on the team wall team. So that right there made a big impact and the change of process, because going into that Dallas tournament, I was going in there still committed to North Carolina. So for that fall, during that week, I decommitted from North Carolina for football, and I picked up an offer from East Carolina in basketball. So I really didn't have they didn't officially offer me, but I really didn't have any offers. So that was the hard thing. My mom wasn't trying to let me just stop playing football because that was my ticket out.
Right.
So that was probably the hardest thing trying to do was trying to get her to let me just play basketball. That was a hard part. But going to the Peach State, Coach Benelli, he was there watching Jalen Harris when they came back from the All-American camp, J5 and Jalen Johnson when they came back, and he got his eyes on me. So I gotta say that they actually helped out a lot. Just them two being highly rated players, just helping more scouts come to our game, helping other players get looked at also. So that helped me a lot. And then Coach Christian came down and saw me. But the thing that led me here was probably the honesty that he had with me when I took my visit. The thing me and him talked about was more of me, not just having me coming in, earning my spot. So that's what I really liked about it. But him also, being true to me, not just, telling me what I wanted to hear. Cause Cincinnati, they was on top of me, and Cal Berkeley. So they was just telling me stuff just to try to, get me to come to the school. So that's what I loved about Coach Christian. And, when he told me he was going to come down, he came down that next day. So he came down when they played North Carolina. He came down there the next day to see me. So that was, a big impact and everything. And then Coach Benelli, just with his past and stuff, the past thing that he had to deal with in his life, he basically, just helps me out, just looks over me. He understands, where I'm coming from and stuff. So that was a big thing. And just the team wall whole, just the whole team wall circuit, really helped me, pick up scholarships and be able to just make it to college for academic and basketball reasons.
Oh.
What's and touching on Team Wall, kind of explain to me what your relationship is like with Kendrick Williams of Team Wall. Not only when you started, because what's crazy is, like you said, you were picked up as a practice player. That's wild. But even now, you're in your second year at Boston College. Kind of tell me about your relationship with Kendrick, what you guys what you lean on him for, and kind of how that relationship has grown.
Well, my father passed when I was in third grade, so the only person I really had to talk to was my stepfather. So that's the only person that really taught me basketball and any other sports. So Coach Kendrick being there, I felt like I had another father to help me out. So anything he said, he knew I anything he said personally or anything he knew I wasn't gonna get mad. It's just gonna make me work harder. So him standing on top of me helped me improve myself as a basketball player, but also as an individual person. But me and him grew just from him knowing about my father passing, knowing the trouble that my mom been through with my brother and stuff, and knowing what I'm trying to do, and him just checking up on me to make sure I'm okay, just out here in Boston, and knowing that I'm in a good place, and knowing the coaching staff, making sure that he can help me and save me if I need help or anything.
Do you consider John Wall a mentor?
Yeah, I do.
What is it about John that you respect, that you look up to?
The one thing about John that I respect is whenever I text him, I can always get a response back, and he's not there's some people some famous people that you can text them they won't reply back. So
right.
Where he'll actually reply back and give me credit and tell me stuff that I need to work on, or tell me stuff I can improve on to help myself in basketball, but also off the court. Because I was telling him about this past year, this year, my away games. I was just talking about it. I couldn't been able to get it going on the road, but from all the pressure, he told me just to relax and just think of it as another home game. Because the biggest thing for me is knowing that all the road wins, the big ones for us this year, and that we need them. It makes me put more pressure on myself. So he told me I need to just be calm and just think of it as another home game. So he also helped me on the court and off the court. So that's what I really love about him.
Got you. So, Kyran, one thing I want to touch on, man, like is basically, I feel like you and Jerome, shout out to Jerome Robinson, I feel like you guys have put the Boston College back on the map. You know, Boston College has always been known for having like a strong backcourt. So, what would you say that means to you, making Boston College relevant again, the ACC and things like that?
The biggest thing is not even starting with the team, just starting by getting all the fans back into the game.
Right.
And start having more fan support, because Boston is like known for all the sports. So many colleges, so many teams play in Boston. All the professional sports. So just being able to get the fans back into the gym with us and like behind us just helps a lot. So that's like just making our home court advantage even and better to our advantage. But also just trying to pick up the faith in not just what we have, but also bringing the team faith to being able to be a good team in the ACC.
Absolutely. So I gotta ask you a question, man. What is it about you when you go up against the Duke Blue Devils? I mean, I think every time you play Duke, I think you just see red and you just go crazy. Just talk about what it's like playing against a team from I'm pretty sure you grew up watching. You know what I mean? You know, rooting against. You know, so just talk about that.
You know, what really happened my first time playing them, I was just, because I've always been a North Carolina fan, so I was always a big time Tar Heel. I've been to all the games and stuff, so like that was always in myself. Where I took it lightly second half because I needed to get the rest of the team involved, because I didn't want to just do like try to be the one man that was scoring everything, because I had nine straight in the like first 2 minutes. And I just took it off for a little bit, but the thing, I think it's just my motor. Just when we play teams like that, just teams that want to play like up to speed, just helps me out even more, because I love playing up to speed. So just let my motor go.
Was that Duke game at home this year the best atmosphere you've played at in college basketball so far?
It had to be, yes. With our fans and stuff, like our fan base haven't been like that since that was first time that we have to BC, so it was a great feeling just to have all the people there, even all the support after getting the win was even better. Like everybody recognized you. Like before, Rome said he couldn't wear like his gear outside of Boston. So I mean, just trying to like spread it, but I just trying to keep everybody like up to joy, and just showing that we can compete in the ACC is the big thing.
What kind of craziness was Coach Spinelli throwing out in the locker room after that game?
Well, Coach Spinelli, like the whole week, like preparation was like big for us. Everybody was locked in somewhere. Coach Spinelli, he's always just up, don't care what he says, just fired up, just says anything. He's never calm. He try to be calm. Like we can have a calm conversation, and he'll just start yelling out of nowhere. So him getting up is just like, that's just Coach Spinelli. He got to stay fired up.
Who did you grow up? Who was your favorite basketball player growing up?
I have to say John Wall. Before I went to Team Wall, I was playing on the USBA circuit, the little
Team Raid, right?
And I used to like just watch John Wall, like all the balls, like his high school, the Word of God Mixtapes.
Yep.
That's what I watched before every game. So,
do you ever look back? I mean, obviously you're right in the middle of it right now, but do you ever step back and think kind of the position you've been put in to grow up watching the guy, go to a random tryout, get picked? Now you're in your second year of college. You used to be a football player turned basketball player. Now you are a basketball player with the NBA. It's hopefully, God willing, coming to you in your future. Do you ever think about just kind of how crazy life is, that it took you where you've been, and now you're kind of in a place where, depending on your work ethic and your humility staying where it is, the sky's the limit for you. Is that ever hit you?
At times, I also think about it, like, just thinking that my chance right now as my brother's chance, like, God's giving my chance to showcase my talent, just as far as me give him a second chance that my brother didn't have. So me trying to take this chance into advantage is just my big thing. So I also thought about it if I would have I think I made the right decision. Cause I was thinking if I would have what would I been at if I went to UNC and played football. I really don't know where I'll be standing the standpoint, and I feel like I'm in a good situation right now where I made the right choice in my life to come to Boston College to do the right thing. So
Definitely,
yeah,
it's really been a questionable thing. I think about it a lot of times, just think about how far I came, just not in general, just over the course of family struggling and everything.
Right. One thing I always say on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure you've seen me say this, the one thing which I think that helps you and Jerome more than anything is that the coaching staff at Boston College allowed you guys to come into a system and develop as basketball players, and develop you for one, and two, allow you to play through things. So what kind of things is Coach Christian and Coach Spinelli, what kind of things do you say that do they tell you guys and kind of give you confidence? What would you say?
The one thing that I give to Coach Christian, he's always gonna get on me. He's never gonna let me stop. He's always gonna make sure I'm humble and just keep pushing me to do better. And a lot of times, after every game, he'll bring me and Jerome in for 30-minute meetings just to work on our game and more, and just to pick out small points that we can do better on. Last game, he was telling me about ball strings, telling me I need to start directing the bigs, not just letting them just set the ball string, but actually telling them twist it and stuff. So for me, coming into my sophomore season, that was a big thing, working on ball strings and reading everything off the ball strings. But he's also helping us understanding don't try to put too much pressure on ourselves with even with if a scout comes to the game, also trying to mentor us to relax and just play through the game. So him giving us that freedom to just play is helping us as a team to where we don't have to put so much pressure on our back.
Right.
So you mentioned, part of what you and John talked about was kind of how to deal with away games. At this point, does pressure exist for you in the game of basketball? Does the game of basketball provide any sort of pressure for you?
I don't say it provides pressure at all, because the thing about me, I feel like I play better under pressure. I feel like I play a lot better when I'm under pressure more than I feel like the games that I play relaxes the games that I never can have a good a game that I could have had, or do have is it's so much going on and everything. So I'm just thinking about how to be successful in the game. So all the pressure don't get to me as much.
When you were in high school, you guys, your senior year, had arguably the best season of the school's basketball history, from what I kind of researched a little bit. You guys were 2 games away from a state championship, and you played a backcourt teammate in Malik Johnson and Terry Sanford that last game. You had 45 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, and you did it in front of J. Cole. At what point did you realize? Obviously, there was already you knew it was win or go home. You're 2 games away. You're so close. When did you realize that J. Cole was there? And what did that add in terms of your mentality to going into that game?
I want to say halftime, or just knowing that you're playing at somebody like that, somebody that, the word spreads so fast when people look at you play. So just knowing that somebody's there watching you just helps out in every individual aspect, even if he's not a college scout or NBA scout. It still helps to lead on to the future and stuff. So somebody can always say he had a good attitude or something just to help out, but also it just helped me play up. I wanna win this game just to show them that our team was better than his tonight. But I mean, I give them boys a lot of credit because they came out and played. They played their nuts off, just playing out. Some of our boys just didn't want to play. Someone was scared to guard him. Malik did his thing. Telly did his thing. They was out there shooting. It was hard to stop him, but overall, that was probably the best. That was the best atmosphere I've been in high school. So that was a good way to end it, though.
So my last question Is Khalil Barrett next out of Havelock?
I don't think he'll play basketball. I think he'll just go straight football.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking though. Is he the next name that's going to come out of Havelock?
Yeah, I want to say we got him and Avery. He's committed to UNC. So we got one more young buck there. I want to say that's probably the last one, Anthony Harris.
Think about 5 years from now what an alumni game would look like at Havelock, whether it's football, basketball, or whatever else. Y'all got some dudes coming out of that place.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's crazy.
Bruce will be back. Farrell will be back.
It's crazy.
I mean, a lot of them play both, so I mean, we probably just play alumni.
So, Kyran, man, I got 2 quick questions for you, man. First, man, I think you got 7, 8 ACC games left in the tournament. So, I mean, what's the end goal? I mean, obviously, I think you guys are on the bubble right now. So, hopefully, what do you feel about the rest of the season? You feel like you guys can make a push for the tournament?
As far as this month, this is our biggest month right here. Saying that we're in a good position in the ACC, even though 3 and 5 so far. February is like the biggest month. We've been talking about it all week as a team, and as the coach has been telling us that if we can just go 6-3 this month, it will be great for the tournament. But the thing is, we want to try to go 7-2 or 8-1 for this week, this month of February. Just try to set ourselves good in the standings, but also trying to thing is, I want to actually get a chance to win.
Absolutely. I think, man, I think if you, like you said, if you guys go 6-3, 7-2, that gets you to about 500 in league play. 500 in ACC gets you in the NCAA tournament. So my last question for you is, let all the folks out there know, man, who's your favorite Twitter follower, man? We want to know.
I gotta say
Rob Bridges. Yo, All-American guard Kyran Bowman has just
look at him.
My man.
Sometimes I don't it's risky to retweet. I don't know if I should retweet it or
Nah, don't retweet nothing I say. No, just
no.
How many people be watching my Twitter?
Don't do that.
Nah, we don't want you we don't retweet it. Nah.
I send the Roman group chats. Just let them get a little laugh off. But
hey,
I gotta give it a Rob.
My man, hey, listen, man, the world heard it here first, man. All-American guard Kyran Bowman, all ACC freshman, all ACC everything. Rob Bridges is his favorite Twitter follower. Man,
damn it, Kyran.
I have made it in life, dog.
Oh, man. He's not going to get his head out the door now after that. Well, look, man, Kyran, thank you so much for doing this, man. We're so grateful to have you on. Our fans and everyone who watches Ball is Life and watches the podcast deserves to know who you are and pay attention to what y'all got going on at Boston College. We'll be talking to you again for sure. Thank you, man. We really do appreciate the time.
Yes, sir, man. League him.
We'll talk soon.
I also like to make a quick comment as well. I know I was looking at the YouTube comments last week. I had a couple of people.
I already know what this is.
Make a comment about my Curry jersey. So first of all, you can kiss my ass.
Donnie doesn't know what's going on because he doesn't read our comments. The jersey was a little schmedium.
It was a little schmedium. But listen, man, you're supposed to wear little stuff, man. I don't wear baggy stuff, bro.
That's the trend these days.
It is the trend, bro.
Why do you do that?
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don.
How much do you pay him to be your hype man?
Nothing, but that's my dog, man. We rock it. You know what I mean?
Is this a white person thing? Like you don't support?
It is Black History Month.
You're right.
And I'll give Don. He's 50% black. So.
I know. I'd almost give him more than that.
I would too.
He told me he went to Wingstop last night. He was the only non-black person in there, and they called his order for how many did you get? A pound lemon pepper?
A 10-piece lemon pepper.
And he said immediately everyone's vibe towards him changed, and it was just like
respect. Lemon pepper my wings, dog.
He texted me, he said, once they called my order, everyone knew.
Shout out to Don Juan.
Again, man. Keep commenting. Get Donnie on the camera.
Facts, dog.
I'm so glad you said that about the jersey thing, because I was going to do it, but I'm like, you know what, man, I'm not. You know what I mean?
That's cool, man.
Go back to our last episode if you're not familiar and check out Rod's Steph Curry jersey. And just so everyone's clear, that was actually a jersey Steph Curry wore in a game.
Absolutely. Shout out to
So
Steph.
if it seems a little slim,
That's what it was.
It's game worn.
It was actually signed too, man. That was actually the 49-point game. After he dropped those buckets, he sent it. He sent the first class mail to me. So
clout game.
Hey. Shout out to young Steph. Hey man, congratulations too, man. Baby number 3 on the way. Steph for 3. Bang, bang, bang. All right, moving on.
So we were supposed to lead right into the post Kyran interview. I'm definitely using everything he just said before we get into that. But let's talk about the conversation we just had with Kyran Bowman.
Right.
I interviewed Kyran before his senior year of high school.
Right.
I think it might have been the first time he had sat down and kind of had one of those interview style conversations. I learned a lot about him then. He is way better at the interview thing now.
Right.
I mean, it helps that we know him, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's a lot more comfortable, and I think that is stemming from how his game is progressing. And the more confident he gets on the court, the more confident he gets in front of the cameras. And that should, with his work ethic, that should continue to grow and progress. What was the biggest thing you took away from that interview?
The first thing, man, it's just how personable he is. I mean, Kyron's a great kid. He comes from a great family. That's the biggest thing. When you find the kids that are personable, you root for kids like that. You want kids like Kyran to succeed, especially what he's going through.
Makes it easier to work hard for him from a media side.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if anybody would ever call me about Kyran Bowman, the first thing I would tell them, forget basketball. It's just a great kid. Just being going to the AAU tournaments with those guys a few years ago. Like, he was always one of those kids that sat down and talked and just chopped it up. But he was always focused at the same time. And he knew what his mission at hand was. So that's one of the biggest things about Kyran that stood out about me, for me.
When I was fortunate to go cover him play against Duke this year, and I got to film the practice the day before the game, which is what this footage is here.
Right.
He smiled. I don't mean he smiled ear to ear the entire practice. And I have never in my life seen that.
Right.
And I asked him after the fact, I'm like, are you always just cheesing in practice like that?
Yeah.
And he didn't really have a specific answer for me. But I mean, I think hearing him talk today, especially about where he's at in Boston and the university and the whole night, I think he's just in a happy place. I think he's comfortable. He feels safe. He's in a place where he knows if he just works his ass off on the court and in the classroom, kind of like he said, I think he kind of knows what is in front of him.
Right. He can change lives.
With a lot of lives within his own personal circle. And his mom and stepdad were at that game as well. And they're just all real people. They're not jaded by nothing. They've had a son that kind of went through some adversity and they all had to deal with that together, and it's all made them stronger. Yeah. If there was ever a kid worth rooting for, you're never going to find something bad about him.
Right.
Unless you're a hater and you want to talk about his red hair, but guess what? That red hair is giving you buckets, boy.
Buckets. Yikes.
Did he say anything to you, to us in that interview that you were surprised by?
Not so much. No.
I was surprised that John Wall was his favorite player growing up. And I think maybe that's just a generational thing.
Yeah.
Because I put these guys, we're friends with these guys. So I forget how much younger they are.
Right.
But I mean, he's 20?
Yeah.
20 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
He grew up on John Wall.
I mean, a lot of kids, watching your mixtape of John, that was every kid's dream mixtape. That's why kids went to Word of God.
What's super dope is asking him that question about John and him being a mentor and all that.
Right.
I know that no one respects Kyran Bowman more than John Wall.
Right.
Respects what he's been through, respects his grind, respects his hustle. And what's super dope is this time 2 or 3 years from now, they're going to be playing each other a few times a year.
Right. That's dope.
Kyran Bowman is no longer a football player playing basketball. Right. Do not disrespect his name by saying that.
Yeah, let's change that narrative, man.
And don't get it twisted, though. Give him 1 year. He'll get drafted by an NFL team.
I was getting ready to say, when he said he didn't know where he'd be if he's in North Carolina playing football, you'd be on the draft board. Where just would you be? But I mean,
that's right.
God chose his path for him. So
if you wanted to really break it down, if you had both, same position in both, your basketball life is going to be a lot longer.
A lot longer, absolutely.
And from a money standpoint and a marketing standpoint, don't put a helmet on that face.
Right.
Stay out here and get this money.
That's why I stopped playing football, man. They couldn't see my face, though.
Has anyone ever told you kind of look like Robert Tractor Trailer?
Has anybody ever told you?
No, come on. Oh, wait, tell. See, this is what I don't get. And this is going to be, you say that like it's derogatory.
It's not derogatory.
Tom Brady, his wife is gorgeous. Right. She cooks amazing food. And he just wins. He's just a winner.
Let me think about it.
And as soon as you put his back against the wall, he's still winning. He's the only person that has ever beat the internet. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
He is a cheater. Well, get me to the end of this episode. I'll have somebody else for you.
Have you ever?
We can do this all day.
No, I don't. I'm going to stick with Robert Tractor Trailer. And the only reason I even say that is because he popped up dunking the ball, playing for the Cavs on my internet the other day.
Right.
And he looked like a truck driver. He didn't look like an NBA player.
God rest his soul, man.
All right. Well, so we did all that. We're going to jump into the mixtape features of the week. And the guy that you selected was one of my favorite players as well. And that's Quincy Miller.
Quincy Miller, a.k.a. QTV, a.k.a. Bucket, a.k.a. He used to say, yo, we used to sit there and watch all the QTV episodes because he was hilarious, bro.
Can you imagine Quincy coming up now with how kind of, because this QTV and everything we did with him was way before its time.
Right.
All the stuff that, Home Team Hoops is doing and we're doing and the off-court features, like,
oh, man,
this is where it started.
Right.
And it's not like we knew what we were doing as video guys.
Yeah.
His personality was just too amazing.
Oh, yeah, man. He would have been a Twitter celebrity blue check guy. I mean,
oh, my goodness.
I mean, because he's funny now, so you can only imagine now in 2018 how he'd be.
Well, now he's got world experience, too, so I imagine his humor and his perspective has only gotten better.
I can imagine what else he's got in the world too. But anyway, we're gonna talk about the mix, man. Quincy was that guy, man, where I mean, he kind of had some like.
Dude, why is he putting you on blast like that? Like, can't you live? Just let him live.
Nah, Q, shout out to Q.
He's very responsible.
That's my guy, man. That's my guy. Shout out to Q, man. I mean, one thing about Quincy, man, like he had that game. Honestly, I feel like he's not in the NBA right now by choice. Because he has a lucrative contract overseas right now, a very lucrative.
That's an understatement.
I think it's a few million.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah, so
right.
I mean, I would love to see him in the NBA because I think his skill set in today's NBA, he'd be a very much a rotation guy.
Well, so I personally, and I mean, my stance is always going to be this: if you can play the game of basketball and support your family, support your lifestyle, support your future,
right?
I think that's amazing. I don't care where you're playing.
Right.
I could give a shit.
Right.
Quincy's case, what the internet will say is because of how big he blew up.
Yeah.
What happened to him? Why isn't he in the NBA? What's wrong? Well, Quincy got hurt. He had a knee injury.
Yeah.
Who knows how much more explosive, how much quicker he would have been without the knee injury. And even with that, he worked through it. He got past it and then signed a $2.5 million deal overseas.
Right. You can call me a bust all day with $2.5 million.
That's right. If you want to call me a failure with $2.5 million, and it's not like that was I don't know the details exactly, but it was less than a 4-year deal, right? Yeah. I'll take that.
All right. Any day of the week.
And the only people that really lost out on Quincy are advertisers in the U.S. because if he had found his place in the NBA to be a impact player, his personality, his smile, his charisma, he would have been able to kill social media and sell a lot of stuff for a lot of people if that's what he wanted to do. And at the end of the day, that's running it up even more.
Right.
Quincy played with Deuce Bello. Quincy played with Ike Nwamu. Quincy played at QEA, originally from Chicago, but he is absolutely a Hoop State guy. Shout out to Quincy Miller. Hopefully we can get him on one day to let him tell everyone his story.
What up, dog? Shout out to you.
My mixtape of the week is one that arguably could have been listed on the top 5.
Calvin
C.J. Leslie. Word of God alum. Play with John Wall. Play with Des Wells. Play with Bishop Daniels.
That was a hell of a starting 5, man.
It's ridiculous. And it's not like the other dudes on the team were bums, too. I'm pretty sure the other dude that started, whose name I don't know, he's like 6'9".
He was the guy, he went to Western Kentucky.
That's D1 as hell.
What was the guy? He was a skinny
Stefan.
kid. Stefan. Something Drain.
Right, something like that. They were so good. C.J. Leslie ended up going to NC State. He had a shot at the NBA, jumped around in the D League a little while. I know that it was reported he went overseas. I don't know the details on any of that. CJ Leslie, there's no reason that CJ Leslie shouldn't be in the same position John Wall is in.
Right.
He's a year behind him. He graduated a year after. I look, no disrespect to CJ. I don't want to come across like this. Same with CJ. I hope he can come on and kind of tell his story to help kids kind of understand. I never saw CJ Leslie play hard for an entire game.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
I think CJ Leslie needed a college like Kentucky. He needed a caliber. He needs someone who wasn't going to tell him what he was doing was okay.
Right.
CJ was just so good. And even if he would only play hard for 5 minutes and a half,
it would be
the most ridiculous 5 minutes you will ever see. I watched him at Dudley with his back to the basket, drop step, and 360 on someone.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 17.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where you watch it and you're like, dude, what are you doing in high school?
Right.
And it's not like Dudley was some scrub. That's the first time I saw PJ Harrison play.
Word of God got beat.
That's right. Word of God got, and Calipari was in the building for that game.
Yeah.
I don't care what CJ's doing today. If you have never seen CJ Leslie's mixtape, you need to go watch it. He was a what should have been Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
I hope, and again, we'll get an update, hopefully get him on to kind of tell his story himself. I'm not sure what he's doing. I've seen him around the Dale Center at State a couple times, seen him around town, saw him with John this past summer. Whatever he wants out of life, I hope he gets it.
Right.
Shout out to CJ and all that was the 360 right there, all blurry, but shout out to CJ, man. He was very, very special.
Right.
All right. Last segment. We're out of here, guy.
Okay.
By the way, we're doing this on a Saturday night before Super Bowl Sunday. I don't have a life. Ball is life for me, so this is kind of just par for the course.
Right.
I appreciate you coming out here and doing this with us. I know you got friends and stuff to do, and apparently there's a little baby at the house.
Well, I don't have any friends to do, so
and stuff to do.
Yeah.
And stuff to do.
Yeah, right. But no, yeah, I do have my little one at home, but yeah, man. So real quick, before we do get out of here, real quick, what are your thoughts on LeBron to Golden State potentially? First of all, I just want to say,
who said it? Where'd it come from?
It came from a blue check Twitter account. I forgot the guy's name. It was an ESPN guy. Was it Chris Haynes or something like that?
Don't know.
But anyhow,
LeBron said he didn't say it.
Well, listen, we don't want him. LeBron, you can come on the New South anytime you like, but we don't want you in Golden State, dog. Listen, because my thing is,
I don't even want to act like we're flexing like that. LeBron, we might get John Wall. We might get Dennis Smith.
Right.
We might get Donovan Mitchell. LeBron James is never talking to us.
That's true. That's cool.
I've been around him before. And shot for an hour and a half. He's not coming here.
That's cool. I don't expect him to come here, but that's cool. But I mean, I just think, real quick, I think
and if he was, you wouldn't be talking all this shit.
Nah, I'd be like, bro, let's put me on. Man. You know what I mean? We got this podcast, baby. Yeah, but no, I just think it tarnishes his legacy as a player. I don't think if he takes the meeting, I think that's just no.
The real question is, does he leave Cleveland?
I think yes. If the reason I say he leaves Cleveland because I mean the things going on with him and Dan Gilbert. I think that he wants a chance to compete at for another championship. You can't do it with that Cleveland roster. It's impossible at this point.
I don't think he leaves, but to be fair, I didn't think he was leaving to go to Miami. So we talked some on the court stuff. We talked some off the court stuff. We talked some dramatic stuff, and more importantly, we got a chance to talk to Kyran Bowman. This was a lot of fun to do. Everyone, if you've made it this far again, Jesus.
We appreciate you.
Oh,
man.
my goodness, man.
Unreal, man. Unwavering support for us, man. We love all the comments, good or bad. I mean,
more. Please give us more.
Right, more. I mean,
tell Rod how little that jersey.
Please, man. I'm gonna go to an XL next week for you guys.
Tell me how lopsided my face is. Let us know.
Yeah. It's kind of lopsided.
No, but most importantly, subscribe, like, comment, get involved. We did a giveaway on the second episode. Gave some gear away to a kid in Indiana. I'm going to do the same thing now. If you've made it this far, hashtag on Twitter, the New South, to me and Rod.
Yep.
Rod is at Rod_Bridgers. I am at Ball is Life East.
I thought you were at Kirk Heinrich. Oops.
Oh, that, hey.
I got.
No, that one's solid. That's
Okay.
what, in high school, I had the hair.
Oh, you
the
did?
flippy
Right.
student sections would give me a Kirk Heinrich.
I told you I was
You know what I would do?
What's that?
I would give them buckets.
Ooh, we need some footage. Claude Shields, let's get some footage on that, man. I heard you were nice, though.
Yeah, I was.
Okay. My fault.
Don't worry. See, the season 1 finale of the New South podcast will feature me and Rod playing one-on-one. And at a later episode, we'll break down how we each think that's going to go.
So listen, man, I'm getting in shape now. I'm going to drop these buckets. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do it for the, never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like, subscribe, hashtag the New South, and let us know you've gotten to the end of every single episode and what your favorite part about this podcast is. We'll get your address. We'll select someone. We'll get your address. We'll send you out some Ball is Life gear. Thank everyone for being a part of this.
Facts.
Literally, this does not exist without the listeners and the viewers. If you're listening on iTunes, you get home later, go to YouTube and search the New South podcast. We're going to have a lot of footage of Kyran while he's talking. Definitely worth taking a look at. And you need to go watch episode 3 and check out the Schmedium Steph Curry jersey.
Schmedium, Steph for 3.
We appreciate y'all, man. We'll see y'all next week on the New South.
Episode 4, we out.